My name is About-It-Ifezue. I'm from Nigeria originally, and it's so good to see you guys. I've read some of your business ideas, and I've seen how enthusiastic most of you are in pursuing these ideas, and I'm really glad that Finland has changed so much that you see people venturing, because some years ago it was so that, before people talk about going into business, you think about, hey, the failures, is it gonna work? And that kept a lot of people from actually trying. But why are we talking about telling a story? When we talk about stories usually, we don't take it serious. It's a story. With stories, you talk more like gossip. Yeah? So how do we then say stories and business? It doesn't relate. I was searching online recently and I saw a job description. Chief storyteller to an organization. You're not a CEO. You're not an operation manager. You're a chief storyteller. In this day and age. But the thing is, stories are really core to our ideas and to our products. I don't know. So, how do I take it?
Yeah.
This picture kind of tells a lot about me. I grew up in this setting. You can see the smile, the fun. We played a lot of street football, and I think many of us here can relate. I'm not in Finland because it's cold out there. You don't get the opportunity, except when you go to. But this is basically on the street where cars move, and you would see when the cars come, everybody goes like, and back on the game. But the really important thing about this story is it actually helped build who I became today. And I know that also applies to everyone sitting here. I was not so good in playing football, but when I'm going to my errand or going somewhere, someone will go, Osita, come here. We are 3. We need 1 to complete us. And you're like, okay, just be in the back, stand there and just. You missed. You got beaten on the streets. You got into fights. You got into arguments. You got into plays. But what all of this does is they mold you. They teach you lessons. You learn from it. You learn who you really are. The core. What makes you you. And this is the genesis of the ideas you will build in the future. That is the genesis of the products, the services that you are going to offer to people. I was so excited when you talk about Web 3.0. I don't know nothing about Web 3.0. I'm still trying to catch up. The whole thing about AI, it's still a catch-up thing. But there's something important that I knew. When the Y2K happened, there was a transition. Telling a story like that, seeing how things transition from that point to where we are now, a lot of things has changed. So how can we then incorporate this when we are pitching our ideas? This is really important, because if you imagine someone sitting somewhere, you want to sell your product, or you're looking for an investor or a co-founder or someone to work with. Imagine this product. I was asking my daughter this product, what this is. I call it stress relief. And I think a lot of us know what you use it for. And I'm wondering, imagine when the guy that came up with this started thinking about it. Okay? And imagine that this guy is actually coming to you without seeing this product, tell you, okay, I'm going to make a product with, plastic. it's gonna have bubbles inside, you know, you're just gonna like, would you take that person serious? No. But this is a product now. It's widely sold. How did this guy or this person communicate the concept of this product to the person he's going to get investment from, to his co-founder, to someone he wants to work with? Before getting to the prototype stage, how did he come up with a pitch, with a story? Let's imagine that, hey, this guy is highly stressed. You know, like, it's here. He has found, looked for every way to deal with it. It is, but all of a sudden he found that probably, fiddling with something while doing something else kind of eased that. Okay, an idea has come. The idea now has to be transmitted by story. And that's where the why question comes. The why. Why am I making this? How am I going to tell this why to my co-founder, to my investors, to my employers who I'm going to hire? Because one of the most difficult things, especially when you're starting up a business, is getting those who work for you. You don't have money, so you got to sell your idea. And selling your idea means you got to tell a beautiful story. What story led to the development of this? Stress, right? How do I then package this that if I'm communicating it to that person, oh, I see, this is what you're actually trying to portray, that you're able to carry that. And that is why it is good to use good storylines, good storyboards. Can I tell you something? Everything I say here today, by the time you leave this room, do you know that about, say, 20%, in 20 minutes, it's gone. About you lose 40% of what I've said. By the end of today, you would have lost 70% of everything you heard today. This was a study done. But tell me you would forget this tonight. Probably not this year. Probably not next year. Why? Visual. It has captured your visual imagination. And that's the point of stories, that your visual, it creates this picture inside your head that you are able to relate to it. And it is something that is really important nowadays. So how do we then get to retain the things that we are trying to learn? How do we put it in there? Simply by telling stories.